Greetings, hello parents, students, educators. Hi, I'm John Baylor. Great to have you. This is our monthly Ask John Anything about college counseling conversation. We talk about everything each month that has to do with getting into the right college at the right price. We want to make sure every student gets into the right college at the right price so that all of you can become 2- and 4-year college grads with minimal debt. Sure, we work with a lot of families who don't really have a budget. That's fine, as long as everyone graduates, they can go wherever they want perhaps and graduate with minimal debt. But a lot of us, we got to think about our budget. We got to make sure we get the right college at the right price so we can graduate with minimal debt, a 2- or 4-year college. Tonight, we're focusing on choosing the right college. We want to give you the tactics, the strategies to make sure you get into the right college at the right price. How does it start? Money talk. Step 1, make sure you have the money talk. Spring, April of senior year, you got not only showers, you often have tears because it's often the first time that parents and kids have had a realistic talk about the budget. Hold on, Western Illinois is going to cost us $27,000 a year and you're probably going to graduate in 4.5 years. We don't have that kind of dough. Then it's scramble time, panic time. That conversation should happen a long time ago. Freshman year, sophomore. I'm not saying show junior the tax records. I'm saying have an honest talk. What do we have saved up? And if it's a 2-year college, divide by 2. That's your annual budget. What do we have saved up? And then what can we contribute each year in annual earnings? And if she's going to go to a 4-year college, take that total amount, divide by 4. That's the family's annual budget. But it's not, because then you can add 11 grand. How can you add $11,000 per year to the budget? That's the student's contribution. That's the student's contribution. Where do I get 11 grand? Now this is the coolest slide of the entire presentation. That's like a road in the background and we're in a different font. Basically 11K paves the way. We think students can contribute $11,000 a year. 11 grand? $11,000, there's no way at that age I had 11 grand, but I think each student who cares a lot about college, and that's job 1 as well, we got to make sure they realize this could be transformative and affordable, can contribute $11,000 per year. Where am I getting that kind of dough? Well, the old-fashioned way, earn it. Now this is ideally during vacations, $3,500. In some parts of this country, it might be a little difficult to earn $3,500 over the 4 months of vacation time when students are not in college. But in most parts of this country, they put their mind to it, $3,500, that's contributed to the family pot to pay for college. By the way, what about pizza money when at school? That money you can earn ideally when in school. Don't work more than 10 hours a week if at all possible while in school, and that's your pizza money. Now, there are about 1 out of every 5 full-time college students in this country who are working at least 35 hours a week. About 1 out of 5 full-time college students in this country are working at least 35 hours a week during the college months. That's really going to compromise your college experience, if at all feasible. Make this dough during vacations primarily, at most 10 hours a week during the school year. There's your pizza money. Borrow. We say graduate with minimal debt, so borrow. At most $5 grand a year. Times 4 years, 20 grand. Pay that off by age 31, about $225 a month. And then if you're going to a 2-year college, you borrow $5 grand. Basically, that's what a 2-year college costs for tuition. And you borrow at most 10 grand because it's just a 2-year college. And if the family makes less than $160,000 per year, you should also qualify for what's called an American Opportunity $2,500 per year tax credit, which goes to families that earn less than $160,000 a year for each family member that's a full-time college student. So you add it all up, kaboom, 11K paves the way. So is the family's budget annually at 11K, the student's contribution, and now you understand exactly what the family has. Is we need to choose colleges that fit that budget. So now we need to finalize a list of colleges. We say apply to at least 7 colleges. Whoa, that's a big number. But we want serious competition for your services. I mean, a great way to get a lower cost for a car is to go to 3 dealers and make them compete. Same with college. So at least 7. Now, if you're going to go to a 2-year college, at least 2 colleges. Apply to 2. So get 2 2-year colleges if at all feasible to compete. 4-year college, we need at least 7 to get in there and battle. How do I choose the right college? what are the characteristics, the attributes that I'm going to prioritize in no particular order, although this one I think is the most important. Extracurricular. I'd be sure to go to a college where I can meaningfully participate in the extracurricular that matters to me. My passion, my avocation, my hobby, maybe it's my sport. What do I love to do? Make sure you go to a college where you don't have to retire early. Boy, these varsity jocks go to colleges where they can't get to play unless they hate their sport, they're burned out, they're injured, or maybe they never were any good. I'm not talking about them, but the good ones, all righty? Boom. Make sure you go to a place where you can meaningfully participate. Those who meaningfully participate in extracurricular activity have a much richer experience in every sense. Why? Meaningful relationships are typically the product of shared challenge. Sports, chem lab with a really rigorous teacher, working together at a summer camp. You got the idea. You typically have meaningful relationships, and that's what makes an experience valuable. Meaningful relationships are the product of shared duress, shared challenge. Boom. You do an extracurricular, that's going to happen. A cappella group. Those are the best buddies you'll ever have. They'll be in your wedding someday. Location. I think typically the colder the climate, the more rigorous the education, but there are certainly exceptions. You decide. Size of school. Typically the smaller the school, the smaller the classes, the more accountable the student will be. It'll be probably a better experience. But you can get small classes at big universities. Basically at big universities, which are often less expensive, not always. So they are often good values, but you got to look around. You're going to be in bigger classes, you'll be less accountable. But if you go out and get a great education, it's there for the taking. You can have a life-changing educational experience. Small colleges, not all, but some, just by being there, you'll necessarily, in these classes of 12 students, get a fabulous education. So size of school, you decide. Private versus public, not always, but often private universities, you get a little more attention, there's a little more funding, not always. It's not that huge a distinction, possibly. Merit scholarships, you're on a budget, we want to go to colleges where you can be Warren Buffett's grandkid. You put up a big number on the ACT or the SAT or a big GPA, kaboom, here comes the dough, lowering the cost. Free money, called a grant or a scholarship. Honors academies, these are fabulous academic sanctuaries within huge universities typically, but not all honors academies are created equal. Look into them. I mean, for example, I'll give you one of my favorites. Indiana University, Pennsylvania. Indiana University, Pennsylvania. Yeah, there's a fabulous honors academy right there. Actually, they pay you for tuition as well. It's a double whammy. Not only a fabulous experience academically where you live in this big house in the middle of campus with all these really sharp kids who are driven. You want to be surrounded by driven kids. We often reflect the company we keep. But you also get scholarships that lowers the cost. And a lot of honors academies are like that. You not only get in this preferred residential but academic situation, but it comes with scholarships. But not all honors academies are created equal. But you dig in to find out what that honors academy is about. But they can be fabulous value sanctuaries within big universities. Name recognition. Typically, the name on the diploma is going to help you primarily with the entry-level job. The first job out of college. I mean, by age 30, it's, what can you do for me? What have you done? What's your career? There are a few exceptions. I mean, you're always a Yale guy. Maybe you're always a Wharton guy. I'm slowing down. There's not a lot. You're always a Naval Academy guy. There's not a lot. Caltech. There's not a lot like that. So once you're beyond that sort of top 8, and I'm not saying they're perfect schools for everybody. I'm just saying these are the ones that the name can often live on beyond age 30, beyond age 35. One man's opinion. Look into that. And then, of course, your GPA and scores. Be realistic when choosing your final list of college. You got a 1.5 GPA, don't worry about visiting the Ivies, okay? Now, don't forget, you might look into the size of town. Some people think that's a big deal. Often, and sometimes small towns don't offer the same kind of internship opportunities. Internships are a big deal. But I think a lot of internships can be done over the summer, but it might be a little more difficult to set it up for that summer internship if it's farther away. Something to look into. Though I have to admit, I love small towns for going to college. Fewer distractions, enough said. Meanwhile, study abroad options, most colleges offer that. And here's a big one for you. When you're visiting colleges, ask the question. You're sitting around with students at the college and you're saying, hey, after you graduate, you come back to visit. How many professors are you going to check in with? And they'll be like, what? When you come back, 2 years after you graduate, you come back and visit the old place. Your alma mater. How many college professors are you going to connect with to just check in and see how they're doing? You guys are professors, teachers who've changed your life. And if these kids around the table are going, what are you talking about? I'm just going to go hang out at the Phi Kappa Lau house and see my bros. I mean, that's probably not a college that's particularly focused on academics. I mean, it sounds a lot like a beverage fest. I mean, you want a school where it's going to have academics. The social stuff exists everywhere. To what extent is there an academic pulse? But at other colleges, they might say, wow, I mean, I've got 2 or 3 professors who've changed my life. I'd be sure to contact them ahead of time. I'd want to see them. Then you have a school that's really about undergraduate education. So as we put together the list of schools and finalize that list, so we get to the right college at the right price, we may want to put together, I said at least 7 colleges, but how about this configuration? 3 reach schools. These might be, kind of dream schools, and we're not sure it fits the budget, but there's one way to find out. Apply. Maybe they got some merit scholarships, so we have a chance at winning. So some dreams. If you don't got dreams, you got nightmares. 2 safety schools we know we can get in, we know we'd enjoy it, and we know it would fit the budget. We don't want any tears in April because we got no safety schools, and we get into some schools, but we can't afford them. And then 4 money schools. These are schools we're going to chase down that maybe we don't pay full price for. But if we win the big old merit scholarship, kaboom, it can significantly lower the cost of college. I'll give you an example of a money school. Birmingham Southern, small college, Birmingham, Alabama, good education. They have totally changed their total cost. This is everything included except for travel and pizza money, $30,000 a year. But check out these scholarships. You put up a 24 on your ACT. They'll give you, and you got a 3.6. It's anywhere from $6,000 to $11,500 reduction. So very good chance you're in the low 20s, maybe high teens annually total cost. I went the wrong direction. Here we go. Central Michigan is a perfect example. You're thinking $22,000 total cost for Central Michigan? Hold everything. This is one of our fabulous college counseling books. Let me go to Central Michigan, and I'll tell you this: America's Most Affordable Colleges, our definitive list of the best, lowest cost schools. This comes with our On to College counseling system for families and schools. We want to make sure everyone's armed with all the tools you need to get in the right college at the right price. This has the best values in the country. These are all under $24,000 a year total cost, and a couple dozen are under $16,000 a year. Let's go to Central Michigan. You think it's $22,000 total cost? Not so fast. You put up a 23 ACT or a 1050 SAT, it's $4,500 a year deduction for 4 years. I mean, you're now in the high teens. I've talked a few folks into going to Central Michigan rather than a big old state school out of state, which are often a heck of a lot more expensive than that for non-residents. What about Southern Mississippi? Got a great honors college. It's awfully warm, which makes studying a little tricky. I'm not sure how many people are in the library in January, but you could be one with your circle of friends in the Honors Academy. Southern Miss, $17,000 total, sounds affordable. It's even more affordable than that. You put up a 26 ACT or an 1170 SAT, can take off anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 off of that. There are values everywhere. Those who say college is too expensive are naive college shoppers. We want the right college at the right price. This is part of how we choose value, cost, how we choose the right college. Hey, I'd love to drive a Lamborghini as well, but that used Chevy gets me to the same destination. And by the way, I don't got some banker I got to pay back every doggone month with the used Chevy. Got the metaphor? Here we go. Analogy was the proper vocabulary word. Chadron State, northwestern Nebraska, fabulous small town. Chadron State, you think it's $15,500. That's total. It's already a great value, right? You put up a 23 ACT or 1,000 on your SAT, they take off about $4,000 a year, half tuition. And you put up a 26 ACT, 1,200 SAT, you're probably getting full tuition off. You're under $10,000 a year. There are about 5 schools under $10,000 a year. That's in the regular Section 2. In Section 1 of America's Most Affordable Colleges, no cost or tuition-free colleges. 2 groups. Choose wisely. Money matters. We don't want you saddled with crazy debt. Meanwhile, junior year visit colleges, and we have a whole nother Ask John Anything monthly talk where we talk about the visit. That's coming up. If you want to learn more, you can check out our Platinum Guide for College, how to get in the best college for you at the lowest cost, soup to nuts on including essays, etc. For those of you who aspire to go into ambitious colleges, more selective colleges. Be sure to go visit. If you're going to spend 4 years, be sure to spend 4 hours for that visit and take a final visit senior year just to make sure and meet those deadlines. Maybe early decision or early action makes sense for you. It's a little more complicated, but you want to be sure to hit the deadlines, and also the deadlines for merit scholarships. I can think of 2 amazing, life-changing, like full tuition scholarships at 2 separate selective colleges that have earlier deadlines than the regular decision deadline. And just basically attack. Get started early. This is not a time in your life to be passive. And also, for a lot of state schools, the earlier you apply, the sooner potentially you hear whether you get in and what kind of money you receive. Some of this scholarship money, it's first come, first served. They want to lock in some kids early. You apply late, the money might be gone, even if you're in within the deadline. So after hearing all this, what is the perfect college for you? What does that mean? And you might think about that. And for me, it's a life-changing, rigorous academic experience, which you can get a lot of places. Some places you got to go get it more than others, but at an affordable cost. You got $1.5 trillion in college debt now. $1.5 trillion in college debt, well more than the nation has in credit card debt. That's naive shopping. We got to be a smart shopper. You don't need the Lamborghini. The right college for you at the right price. We got to choose the right college. Now, we call this Ask John Anything. So I'm going to look over to see if I got any questions. This has been an exhaustive conversation on an important topic. Actually, it hasn't been exhaustive. This is obviously not everything. This gives you a flavor. And at On to College, we work with families and we work with schools to create 2- and 4-year college graduates with minimal debt. Part of this important life-changing decision that is too often overlooked until it's too late. Sophomore year in college, whoa, I've already got $24,000 in debt and I'm about to change my major. Dropout city. Got it? We don't want you in that scenario, okay? Right college at the right price. Every month, we try to share with you how to make this happen and give you a flavor. There's a lot more where this came from. I told you about the OTC, On to College, college counseling system. You know about our ACT prep and SAT prep, the best paying job you'll ever have in high school. You want the right college at the right price, you jack up that score. Gpa and Score, like Birmingham Southern, has so much to do with what your cost is going to be. It's the best paying job you'll ever have in high school is getting that ACT and SAT score up. And we have online courses for you. You can take them anytime, anywhere. And then we have live classes as well. You can do that online with one of our live teachers, or we have them offered in Omaha, Lincoln, Kearney, Nebraska. Thank you for joining us. Ask John Anything. Went a little longer than I thought. Got a little conversational with myself. But you can always go back, rewind, and play. And we'll be back next month with more. But don't forget, going to the right college at the right price starts with being on to college.